I'm making a vegan quinoa stuffing. I'm gonna do some Thanksgiving sides just because it's getting about that time. A honey roasted Brussels sprouts, yay. Hijiki, which is a sea vegetable. I do all the prepared food here and all the perishables, prepared food, meats, fresh cheese, all that stuff. But I've been chefing here. Please sign me up for honey roasted Brussels sprouts. Wait, you are gonna love this dish, the red quinoa stuffing. And then I'm gonna do a soba noodle, and it's like a Asian inspired. What kind of oil you be using to cook? I use 3 types of fat. Good morning, Smiley. I use 3 types of oils. I use olive, coconut, avocado oil, and coconut oil, and then I use all the meat fats like tallow, chicken fat. I use sesame seed oil, and we're gonna use that for the soba. Okay, soba noodle with shiitake. My focus here is organic whole foods. That's what I've been doing. I've been studying food and healing for, I don't know, my entire career of 40 years. I turned 60 this summer, and I share my recipes. I'm here to help. I talk to people about how they're feeling, what do you eat, how does food heal you? Love food and healing. That's my jam. You got the right place. All right, so let's get started. I have some water on the stove. I'm going to be cooking soba noodles, and then we're going to saute some shiitake mushrooms to go with that, parsley, roasted red pepper. We're going to have some fun today. Thanksgiving is rushing forward. Write a Thanksgiving survival guide with recipes and all kinds of stuff. It's like 60 pages. How do you select my honey? Well, most of the honey that I use is for sure certified organic. I like the raw and wild honeys. So I have a lot of Brussels sprouts. And keep in mind, if you're gonna use Brussels sprouts in the kitchen for Thanksgiving, you will mind that they shrink a lot. And I would do the math of about maybe 75% shrink. Here's the Thanksgiving sides math. Say you have 6 people and you have 3 or 4 sides of vegetables. You are gonna do, if you want leftovers, you're gonna do between 5 and 6 ounces per person. So when you come up with that, with 6 people, you're gonna do about 3 pounds. But to get to 3 pounds for service, you're probably, so 3 pounds, but if you have 3 different vegetable sides, you only need a pound of each thing, each item. And you will have leftovers. It took me a long time because I'm Italian, grew up in a Jewish neighborhood. We all eat a ton of food. So I used to make all of this food, and I'd have more than I needed for leftovers. So if you want to serve a pound, you're gonna cook about a pound and 3/4. That's my math. So and that usually will get you some leftovers. You know, that nibble at night when everybody leaves, and your lunch or breakfast in the morning will give you that amount for you to have leftover. So I'm going to add some olive oil. A lot of people, they add mustard to their Brussels sprouts. I'm not doing that today. I'm going to add honey because everybody loves a little sweet. And a lot of the food for Thanksgiving is very savory, so it's nice to have a little sweet in there. And then a little organic honey is so nice. So I'm adding honey, and for this amount there's about 10 pounds of Brussels sprouts here. So for this amount, I'm using about a cup of honey. And then I'm adding my real salt. You know how much I love that salt. It's a mineral-based salt, for those of you who have not cooked with me before. I think that's the best. If there's any ingredient you change immediately, it is your salt, especially if you suffer for any kind of edema or blood pressure issues. That is the salt. For me, I like it because it's flavorful. I like it, and what I like about it is you don't salt your food Okay? You don't salt your food at the end, you salt in the beginning. And the reason why I do that is because I want to create levels of flavor, right? I want the food, so the salt kind of acts like a drawing agent. It draws the flavors out, it marries the food better, and it doesn't sit on top of the food, so you're not tasting salt, it's elevating the food, if that makes any sense. I'm gonna add a little bit of garlic powder to this. Notice, and I forgot to do this, I can't believe it, I think because I'm talking to you guys, I usually steam these a little bit, but I did not do that. So and these are not, all right, let's see what happens. Okay, this is gonna be a big test. So I'm gonna mix this up. I can't believe I forgot to steam these. I will tell you, if you're gonna make Brussels sprouts, and you could do this the day before, I would say you could even do it on a Monday or Tuesday before Thanksgiving. If you show you this, because I'm such a bad teacher this morning. So when you peel this end off of your Brussels sprout like that, you see that? What you want to do is give it a cross cut. When you do that, the steam and the cooking gets in, because these are hard and you don't want to like cook the top of the Brussels sprout and not finish them. So I forgot. Usually I put them in our steamer, or you could blanch them for like 4 minutes, 5 minutes. And then when they come out, you could put them in the refrigerator, and then on Thanksgiving morning, you can do whatever you want to do with your Brussels sprouts. So I didn't do that today, which is going to drive me crazy. So what I'm going to do is once I put these down, I'm going to put a paper down. Do you also remove the outer leaf? Yeah, sometimes I can do that, but see, these are awfully clean, so I'm going to leave them nice, because think about it, when I'm making Brussels sprout anything, I'm making, for Thanksgiving, we prep, I'm going to say about 200 pounds of Brussels sprouts. So if I was to take all the outer leaves off of these Brussels sprouts, I'd probably lose about 15 pounds. So that's a big amount. And if they look clean and beautiful, I leave the leaves on. Yeah, it's a lot, right? All right, so what I'm gonna do, so I mix this up. So keep in mind, if you're making Brussels sprouts, it's always good to blanch them or steam them. Yeah, I only do it if it's funky, for sure. So these, of course, are organic Brussels. You only want one layer, so this is a lot. We're gonna move them over. I'm gonna add a little water to this pan, so I'm gonna steam cook them. Yeah, forgot to put them in the steamer. I was just talking to you guys so much and forgot that step. But for you all, you are going to put them, you're gonna blanch them, right? So you'll blanch them for 4 to 5 minutes. Then you can put them in your refrigerator and wait till Thanksgiving morning, but at least that piece is finished. Watch what I'm gonna do. So I'm adding a little bit of water to the pan, and I'm gonna create sort of like a steaming effect when I'm roasting them, because I just forgot. This is not, so don't ignore this. This is not usual for me. When you start cooking professionally, you have to come up with some kitchen hacks. So remember, the shiny part always touches the food. Yeah, the shiny part touches the food. Never knew that, right? And also, if you look, I added to this parchment paper because I don't want the aluminum touching the food. So the only reason why I'm doing this is because I forgot to parboil them first. And because they're cooking in a convection oven, I don't want them to, burn on the outside and cook on the inside. So this will solve that problem. Why the shiny side? Curious. Well, there's some conversation that if you cook or you barbecue, you will see, and you can see it here. You see how it changed color? This is the side where the aluminum really is. So this part, if you ever cooked and you left the shiny side up, did you ever notice there are sometimes you get flakes of the aluminum foil on the food? Have you ever seen that? That's the aluminum. So For obvious reasons, we don't want to ingest aluminum. We're gonna roast those for like 15 minutes and then we're gonna check them, 17 minutes. So I want the shiny side to touch the food or be closer to the food because I don't want the layer of like exposed aluminum to absorb into the food. It's a freaky thing for me. All right, so our water's boiling and I'm gonna put some udon noodles on the fire. These are gonna cook for about 6 minutes. Then we're gonna cool them off and we're gonna make a salad. So a little bit of salt, give it a stir, and let it cook for 6 minutes. There's butternut squash, obviously bite-sized. So we're gonna roast these. This is gonna be a gingered butternut squash with hijiki. Hijiki is a sea vegetable. Let me show you. This is very expensive sea vegetables. It's like this giant bag is a couple of $100. You don't need a lot. Those of you who need iron or iodine in your diet, it's so good. So we're gonna use, for this much salad, you're gonna see, we're gonna reconstitute this. This is hijiki. And we're gonna reconstitute it with, add water to this. It only takes a couple of minutes. This week, noodles are ready. Oh, I got 2 minutes. Let me see. Let's test them. Yeah, with the noodles. You want to make them cold for me?
Yeah.
Oh, thank you. All right, so look. Here's a Brussels sprout, right? It's nice. They're beautiful. So when you cut them, so you're going to just trim a little bit. You just take a little bit off. And these look pretty good. Like I would take this yellow leaf off. Am I up high enough? I would take the yellow leaf off. I trimmed this little piece. Let me see, I gotta do it like this. Okay, so, right? And then you're gonna score that. Now, I went in a little deeper, but this is really important because this is how you create that even cooking process. And it makes the heat go in there much better than just kind of roasting it just like this. So you're just gonna give it a good score. That's when you score it, watch how much faster they cook, but please, I'm warning you, test it before Thanksgiving so you see how different it makes it. It's a big difference. We're making these gingered. So I'm gonna get toast. This is the only place I use seed oil. Toasted sesame, because where else am I going to get that flavor? Yeah, wait till you try that. And do it before Thanksgiving so that you see the time difference. It changes an awful lot. Okay, so here you go. So I'm going to pour a little bit of sesame oil in here because that gives you that Asian flavor. Salt. You know, it's so interesting. When I went to cooking school, I went to a food and healing cooking school. It was vegan. And they used to say, take your salt and mix from up here because that pulls the energy. This is the people teaching me. It pulls the energy from the earth and drops it in your bowl. I believe that. So there you go. Now when you salt like that, your family's going to think you're weird and you just be like, hey, Chef Liz taught me that. All right, and then we're going to do some organic ginger powder. Thanks, Mose. Perfect. Your friends are here. They're all saying good morning to you.
Good morning.
All right, ginger, that, and we're done. Oh, I'm going to put more squash, and they're going to look exactly the same in the oven. I take a marker, and I just write hijiki on here, where it's obviously not touching the food. So I remember that this was the one that I put ginger and stuff in. Oh, you're in Connecticut? You're in Colorado? It's beautiful out there. I was out there for a meeting a few months ago. It was so nice. All right, so here we go. We're just going to spread this out because we want to roast them. I don't want to put it on the marker, so I'm just being careful. And this is great. This gets tossed with that hijiki, and I'm going to show you how we're going to cook that. The kind of cooking is macrobiotic, if you've ever heard that term. Michio Kushi was the father of macrobiotic food, and it's, you know, Asian based, Butternut, sesame, ginger, not sesame, toasted sesame, mineral salt, correct. And you know, Michio Kushi founded this, and he taught the principles of traditional Chinese medicine and healing. This was sort of, macrobiotic was sort of that Asian-inspired healing food. You don't hear too much about it anymore, but in the 70s and 80s, Michio Kushi was all over. And we're going to use the udon noodles in a noodle dish. I'm going to show you in a minute. And this is very healing, very grounding. If you're sick, actually, people, he used to promote it for people who have cancer. Macrobiotic food was healing for some. So, I mean, I have been cooking, and there's splashes of macrobiotic in my food, and I often teach it so that people have this in their, you know, kind of arsenal of food and healing. Off topic, but I love all the different colors of scrubs you wear. Let's check our hijiki. Oh yeah, see, look. You know, when I first started, hijiki was like giant earthworms. And now, 40 years later, we just have this. These little scrawny little things. But back in the day, you know, this is where, for me, this is where I see environmental issues. Look at these scraggly little things. When I tell you, hijiki used to be the size of earthworms. I don't know what that's about. I don't know if the oceans are dirty. I don't know, but that's what I do know. Would maple syrup work with the butternut squash? Of course it would. I mean, that's a great. Hijiki is Hijiki, and you would find it in a health food store. It's fun. I want to go check these Brussels sprouts. Can you? It did the job. It worked. Woo-hoo. All right. It did exactly what we wanted it to do. It steamed them. So now, look how pretty. We got the steam, and watch. See, they went in perfectly. And we have a little browning on the bottom. So now what we're gonna do is put these back in like this, and now they'll roast the rest of the way. And because I have them in convection, they're gonna get that like crispy top to them. So let me put this one back in, and we'll go grab the other kitchen hacks. You see, you don't panic. When you cook, you don't panic, especially for Thanksgiving. No panicking. You can always fix things. Remember, here's a couple of things. You can always fix things, and less is more when it comes to cooking, right? Start with a little spice, start with a little seasoning, and then you can always add, because it's very hard to take away. I cook in stainless and cast iron. That's it. This squash for our quinoa stuffing. This again is butternut squash. And for this one, I'm gonna add a little olive oil, a little of our real salt up here, and I've been here for 20 years. It's feeling all organic food, 95%. So I love dried herbs. I like them because you can put them at the base of your cooking, and it has time to marry flavors all the way through. That sounds delicious. So what I do is, for this amount, thank you so much, Tammy. Look, that's it. That's all I'm putting in. And what I do is I break it up, because it's so fragrant, and it has so much flavor in the dried herbs that you don't need a lot. A little goes a very long way. So that's it, right? That's all I'm putting in here, and we're gonna mix it. We're gonna roast for like 20 minutes, and we're gonna add them to the quinoa. This is on my vegan menu for Thanksgiving, because we have a lot of people who come in and go, oh, I'm cooking for 15 people, and I have 3 vegans, 2 vegetarians, and 4 gluten-free. And it's like, that's hard to do. So with me the next week, we're gonna do all different dishes, and you'll be able to, you'll have so many more different things. So if people come to dinner for you, you'll be like, oh, chef taught me this recipe. This one is just gonna say bee nut. I'm just gonna put bee nut on here for butternut squash. Can you save these lives so we can get the rest? So this is gonna go in. We're gonna roast this for 20 minutes. Get your timers out for me. I got busted. They shut me down. I'm gonna leave and come back in, okay? I don't know why they just did. Look, I cooked all this quinoa. My crew cooked for me yesterday. So the quinoa is ready to go. And this is gonna be a really nice vegan stuffing. And quinoa. Quinoa is Quinoa. This is what they call an ancient grain. There's a white quinoa and a red quinoa. They have equally the same nutrition value, but as far as grains go, this is a high protein grain. Very good for you. So it's a really nice thing to have on your Thanksgiving table if you're having vegans or vegetarians come.
Yes,
This is Paula. Everybody know Paula? Paula's
Hi.
been with me. Wait, we got to slide over. There she is. Paula's been working with me how long? 12 years?
13, I think.
13. 13 years we've been together. She's my baker. She does all the what else do you do? Oh, you do baking,
go,
grab and go. You do everything.
Everything.
She used to work on the line with me and she didn't like it. So now she's on the other side.
I moved.
She moved.
Just in winter.
Just in the winter. Oh, right.
Yeah.
In the wintertime, she likes working on the line because it's warm. Percent shrink on this tray. You see that? Maybe even 30. So that's why I like to say if you're gonna roast Brussels sprouts or cook with them, you've got to add to the dish. You got 6 people and 3 sides. Logan, what's that for? Oh, the tamales are in there for the oven. Do you guys want me to make eggs?
Yes.
You're welcome. All right, so hold on. We got a bunch of stuff going on. All right, the squash needs walnut mix and stuff, the acorn. Oh, yeah, that's good. I made those already, but we didn't put nuts in them. All right, so thank you for all of this love today. All right, hold on. I'm gonna put. Let's do 14 minutes on the squash, and then we're gonna get set up because it's almost time. This last timer, I have a 1 minute on one timer and 3 on the other, and that should break us. Oh, we lost like over 100 people. So not nice. All right, I'm gonna jump back in so it shuts the. You guys ready? I'm so bummed. No, I can't because we open that oven too many times and they run all over the place. So it's a great idea, but it won't work. Thank you so much, New York gal. You guys are so nice. All right, hold on. Didn't get bumped off. I know. Hold on 1 second. I'm gonna jump out and jump back in so it's new. So I'll be right back. Our udon noodles are gonna be with shiitake mushrooms, and we slice them nice and thin. See how pretty? And these are, shiitakes are one of those things I think like tempeh. You either love them or hate them. They have a very strong, like earthy, solid flavor. They're extremely medicinal, very good for you. Thank you so much, Katie. And then we have parsley and roasted red pepper is going to get tossed in that. And we're also going to use crushed red pepper and cayenne. So it's going to be nice and spicy. Is I want to put the hijiki on. So the hijiki goes in this small pan right here. And I'm going to use, this is the only place I use a seed oil. It's a little toasted sesame. And then I'm going to add some mirin. Mirin is a Japanese cooking wine. It's wonderful. And the secret to mirin is it makes a lovely, lovely mashed potato. When people were vegan, I used to use mirin instead of butter because back in the day there were no really good vegan sources of butter. So the flavor had to be, I had to come up with something else. So when I was experimenting, I found that the the mirin was just such a great. It was just such a great option. It gave you the buttery flavor, the buttery texture, and the fat I was looking for without any, the fat texture of a mashed potato. I don't do that anymore because there's like vegan sources of butter now. All right, eggs are ready.
Thank you.
I'm gonna leave them right here, Mose.
Okay.
So now we're gonna just simmer that, and that's gonna get tossed in our hijiki. This just cooks for a minute. What I'm doing with the hijiki is I'm just trying to absorb those flavors. So when we toss it, I know I'm a little crazy, but I think this is good for you guys to see that when I make mistakes, you just have to keep going, right? You can't stress. I used to like freak out and panic. Oh my God, I made a mistake. But it doesn't really matter. You just keep moving. You find a different way. You find, and that's what I train my crew, my new crew, like when they come in or we're at a catering gig, I'm always like, you're in it now. You just got to get it done. All right, here, this is going to be our quinoa stuffing, this pot. Morning, JC. And we're going to add, I'm making, for those of you that are new or you're coming in, we are finishing up or in the middle of making some Thanksgiving sides. I want to get them out there to you guys so that you have an opportunity to try them, see if you like them. Talk to me, make sure that you're making them right. You have to change something. So right now I'm adding my olive oil. I'm gonna add carrots. This is gonna be for our red quinoa stuffing. Celery. And this is a dry stuffing. It's just gonna have some simple flavors, but it's gonna be so beautiful on the plate. And what I noticed for people is we're gonna add some pistachio nuts whole. These are roasted also. And then for a little sweet touch, these are unsweetened dried cranberries. Add a little bit of salt. And then we're gonna add sage, because for me, sage is the #1 Thanksgiving flavor. I like the dry rub sage, they call it, and I buy this organic because it's delicious. Yeah, a little expensive, but so worth it. Pay now, pay later. The hijiki's finished. See, I kind of cooked this down so that there's no real liquid left. So we're gonna put that aside and cool it. We're just gonna mix this nice. Now what else is gonna go in this is roasted butternut squash, and this is a beautiful dish. Now, do you need to have pistachio nuts? Nope. You could use walnuts, you could use pecans, you could leave the nuts out. If it's too pricey and not in your budget, who cares? Just take it out. Nobody's gonna know the difference. Or what you could do is grind the nuts, right? Buy a smaller amount of the nut and grind them so that you don't have to use as much, and maybe put a tablespoon in or something just to have the flavor, or just leave it out. Or another thing is you could chop up the pistachio and just kind of drop a little on the top for garnish. I'm cooking for a health food store. I've been here for 20 years. I'm the chef here. I'm in Connecticut, and I've been studying food and healing for my entire 40-year career in food. So you can't see me because I'm on the stove and I want you to see, but here I am for those of you who don't know me. All right, so this is gonna cook. And we're just waiting for this to get soft. We have our butternut squash in the oven. And then what I do, once I shut the heat off, I'm gonna start in baby spinach because I wanna keep the brightness of the spinach in this dish, so I don't want it to get, overcooked. So now this is nice and hot. I'm gonna add, now we're gonna cook the mushrooms for our udon noodles. So I'm adding, and this will become sort of like our dressing too for our salad. So I'm taking our sliced mushrooms, and I'm going to add to that some crushed red pepper and cayenne. And this is a spicy soba noodle dish. Onions, carrots, celery in there, yeah? So you have onions, carrots, celery, pistachio nuts, and unsweetened cranberries. You know, the fact that they're dry makes them a little sweet, so you don't have to get them all sugary. I don't like that. Thank you so much. What was the liquid you just added? Oh, that was toasted sesame oil. It's the only seed oil I use. And from what I understand, it's not as refined. I don't know. It doesn't make the don't eat seed oil list for whatever reason. I don't know. But I use it in 3 dishes in my kitchen because I need the flavor, that Asian flavor, you know. We're gonna just cook these up. They've got nice spiciness to it. And then we're gonna add them to our noodles. Oh, my cloth. Oh, what was it on? Oh, was it touching something? Yeah, well, I don't know. I'm always setting stuff on fire. These are almost ready. Once these come off the stove, I'm gonna show you how to mix these salads and you're gonna be like, oh my God, these are so good. They said your cloth was too close to the fire. Oh yeah, it probably was. But you know what's good about these cloths, believe it or not? They don't set on fire. If you put it on here, they don't burn. See? They toast a little, but they don't burn. They're almost like, I don't want to cook them too much. And the reason why, because I'm in a deli and because people take food home and these are shiitakes, people take this food home. I try and cook things just to the edge before they're completely done because I know there's going to be a reheat factor. So here you go. See it, Kevin? Ready to put these together? They're going to be so lovely. And then I'm going to add on this, which will, and then we're going to put these on top that are still warm right on top of the spinach. So it'll give it enough wilt, but still keep it nice and crispy. So now we're going to add this warm butternut on top. This is a beautiful dish, and it looks so pretty, you know, for Thanksgiving. All right, here we go. Look at this. I think there might be a little too much quinoa in here, but that's all right. I mean, could you imagine if a vegan is coming or a vegetarian's coming to your table or someone who's got health issues, but you want them to eat something nice and healthy? It's not like you have to make a lot of this, you know? Look at that. I mean, that's a meal in itself, really, right? And if you wanted to, you could chop up, I would tear that up. I know, it's so good. Isn't that beautiful? You can, and you know, if you don't like raw spinach like that, you could do it cooked if you for your Thanksgiving table. All right, now honey roasted Brussels sprouts. I'm feeling Thanksgiving so bad. I want to get it so that we can open up the noodle a little bit. Udon, U-D-O-N, udon noodles. All of our shiitake. Oh my God, look at this. So those of you that like spice, it has cayenne and crushed red pepper. Lots of parsley. That. This dish is so yummy. This is a spicy soba noodle. It's a vegan dish. Look how pretty. Oh my God, it's so beautiful. Here, Polita. You can tell, huh? I got you. 5 more minutes. So that's beautiful, isn't it? This is such a beautiful dish. And again, you could put this on your Thanksgiving table for sure. Thank you, thank you, thank you for all the love. Hello, Manny. Manny's my TikTok agent. If you guys are looking for that, he's the man. So look at this. That is so pretty. All right, so we have We have one more dish to put together, our hijiki and butternut. This is hijiki, and what I do is, because I was roasting 2 different squashes, I wrote it on the paper so I would not forget. Because this is cooked with toasted sesame oil and ginger and toasted sesame, ginger, and salt. We're gonna mix that in. It's a funky dish, but remember, this is a macrobiotic dish, and it's so healthy. Look how pretty this is. Another kind of fun, different type of dish, side dish. Also very medicinal, very healing. I'll show you what it looks like. These are our dishes from this morning. So we have our hijiki. I'm gonna put a little bit of parsley. Look at how pretty that looks. Just that little bit of something, right? Cool. And so healthy for you. Then we have our Brussels sprouts, honey roasted. Our spicy, we call them spicy soba noodles, but they're spicy udon. You guys see that? I know, so yummy. And then our last dish that we made is our quinoa, vegan quinoa stuffing. Next week we'll do like the real deal, the real stuffings and cornbread stuffing. But isn't that beautiful? That's what we made today. That's healthy, clean, organic. So important, so important. And tasty too. Right, Sean?
Absolutely.
Woo! What are those beautiful leaves I just got? Those are so pretty. Well, I just want to say that I'm glad I'm back because I had 2 days off and I missed you guys terribly. And